Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us to Hidden Heroes, Veterans and Caregivers Aging Well series. There will be a comment section. Please put any of your questions in the comments, and then we will get to those questions just as soon as we can. Our presentation today is presented by Jenifer Anderson. She is the Group Exercise Director and Club Manager for Good Shepherd Hospital's Health and Fitness Center. She is going to speak on socialization and activities for the caregiver and those with limited mobility. Take it away, Jenifer.
Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Jen Anderson, and I am the Group Exercise Director and the Club Manager at Good Shepherd Hospital's Health and Fitness Center in Barrington, Illinois. We are a full-service fitness center open to the community. We serve all kinds of people with all kinds of different health goals and fitness needs. So this is kind of what I do, and I wanted to share with you some ideas for activities and exercise guidelines for caregivers and those with limited mobility. So we can jump right in. Find out, why does movement matter? Why is it important for me to incorporate movement into my days? The benefits to mind and body are so plentiful and so meaningful. It is really important. We'll go through those. The benefits of regular movement: improved mobility. Even if you have limited mobility, what you have can be improved with regular movement. We'll find some increased muscular strength. Anytime we're doing any kind of cardiovascular exercise, strength exercise, any of those things, you're going to get an increase in your muscular strength. We'll be able to decrease stress and anxiety. When your body starts to move, those are a little bit better managed sometimes internally. And I'll give you some ideas again on how to do those things. Improved range of motion, a little bit of flexibility around the joints, keeps them nice and healthy. Maybe a little more pain-free, which would be great. Get a better quality of sleep. I find that on the days that I don't exercise, I just don't fall asleep as easily. On the days that I move and I incorporate that into my day, sleep comes to me a lot better. When your body is ready, sleep will come to you a lot better. So I know sometimes I have a little bit of insomnia, and this is something that really helps me out with that. You can get a natural energy boost from exercise. So I have given myself sometimes a choice between that afternoon cup of coffee or taking a walk. And sometimes the walk wins, and I come back and I feel a little bit more refreshed. So you get that natural boost of energy. I've also given myself a choice between a nap and a walk. And again, sometimes the walk wins, but sometimes the nap wins, and that's okay too. But that is one way to get a natural energy boost. You're going to get a stronger core. Anytime we're doing a lot of these movements I'm going to be showing you today and talking about, your core, which is the connection between your lower body and your upper body, is going to get a little bit stronger. It's going to support all of your movement. We can slow some of the changes that occur with aging. So we know as we age, we decrease, our lean muscle mass decreases, our bone density decreases. Sometimes we get an increase in body fat. So regular movement is going to help slow some of these changes. And I'll talk about how that works in a little while too. We'll potentially can get a decrease in body fat. You will promote some cognitive well-being. So sometimes your brain has to work, not sometimes, all the time. Your brain has to work when your body is moving. Your brain has to tell your body what to do. And particularly with some things like cardiovascular exercise, aerobic exercise, you have to focus on exactly what you're doing in order to be successful. So your brain has to do a little bit of work too. I like to call it brain food when we're doing those things. Get an increased longevity, which we all are looking for, an improvement in your bone density. When you do strength training in particular, it does improve your bone density. When you're lifting anything heavy or light, when you're lifting everything and you're challenging your muscles outside of their normal daily challenges, the muscle pulls on the bone, and that in turn then stimulates the bone to say, hey, we're doing something here. And it tells the bone to tell those cells inside, why don't you regenerate, start filling up some of these porous spots? And the muscle helps it remember to do that. So you get a little bit of an increase in your bone density, which is pretty important. We can potentially reduce falls. When you have a strong core that connection between the lower and the upper body. The core is going to support you when there's a change in direction, when you become unstable, when you walk on an unstable surface or start to slip. We can potentially reduce falls that way. Potentially have some improved independence. Might be able to stay independent a little bit longer with all of that regular movement. Social connection. You might find some friends that like to do the same activities that you do. You might find a connection that way and somebody to kind of be accountable to and accountable with and share those experiences and just get an overall better quality of life. So before we start, we will do all of the fun stuff, which is talk about safety first. Of course, we're always going to remind you to check with your doctor before you start an exercise program. Talk to your doctor about what it is that you want to do, any limitations that you might have. You want to talk about any medications that you might have that affect some of the exercises that you do. It could affect your hydration. It could affect your heart rate response. So just make sure that all of those things are something that you talk about with your doctor. If you have an opportunity and are near a facility where you could schedule a fitness evaluation, I always suggest that people do that. Lots of places, lots of gyms that you might join or fitness centers or park districts have people that will do a fitness evaluation for you. So they'll get a baseline with some easy testing of cardiovascular fitness, strength, flexibility. It's not what you think of with the thing and the oxygen. It's not that. You're not going to do that. That's a stress test. We're going to do something a little bit more gentle for you, but get a baseline and find out where you are and talk to you about your goals, show you how to use some of the equipment. So that's things that you can do if you have that available to you. Definitely start slowly and then gradually increase your time and intensity. Make sure you fuel up properly. You don't need to be exercising on an empty stomach. Doing any kind of movement like that. You want to make sure you have a little bit of a healthy snack on board first. You don't want to skip your warm up. You want to tell your muscles that they're about to do some exercise. So you want to move around a little bit first. Drink responsibly, as we all say. Water, of course. You want to make sure you stay hydrated and then listen to your body and honor your limits every day. Every day is different from the next. Every body is different from the next. What you did yesterday might not feel good to be doing today, so you make that choice. You have to honor your body and listen to what it's telling you. And remember that whatever your neighbor's doing isn't necessarily what's going to be good for you. So you need to pick and choose wisely for yourself. So what are the components of exercise? These are things that you would want to try to incorporate into a workout program. A warm-up and a cool-down. Cardiovascular exercise, that's going to be for your heart health, for your lungs, for that oxygen exchange. Strength training, that's going to improve strength and increase some of that lean muscle mass like we talked about. And then flexibility for range of motion around your joints. Want to stay nice and healthy there around those joints. The warm-up and the cool-down. Warm-up is about 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a little bit on the long side, but some people really like that part of their exercise, so you can do that if you like. But about 5 minutes, something that's exercise specific. So for example, if you were going to run, maybe you would walk before you run. If you were going to do some seated exercise, you're going to be maybe marching your feet before you incorporate your upper body. So you're going to start slow, part of you at a time, lower half, and then maybe the upper half, and then you start to put those things together. If you're going to do strength training, maybe you're just going to do some range of motion. So you're going to do, if I'm going to do the bicep curls, I might do it with no weights before I pick up the weights. You're going to get the muscles ready for movement and start getting some oxygen into those beautiful muscles. You do not need to stretch before exercise. You can if you want to, but you do want to stretch afterwards because that's when the muscles are really nice and warm and you can get that extra increased flexibility at the end of your exercise. Cool down again, 5 to 10 minutes. 10 is on the long side, but at least 5 minutes or so of gentle movement, tapping your toes, moving side to side, things like that. Sitting in a chair, still marching your feet, but at a much slower pace because you want to bring your heart rate back down to normal. You want to bring your blood pressure back down to normal. Those things increase when you're exercising, which is what it's supposed to do. But at the end, you want to make sure you take a moment to let your body come back to sort of that resting state. So cardiovascular exercise, what are my choices? I'm so glad you asked. You have tons of options. Cardiovascular exercise is really defined as any rhythmic movement that increases your heart rate. It's all of your big muscles working together. So anything like walking, with or without walking aids, cycling on a recumbent bike or the pedals that go on the floor, swimming, water aerobics, seated chair aerobics, anything where all of your big muscles are really starting to work together, that's cardiovascular exercise. And I always tell people, find what you love and just ditch what you don't. If there's something you don't like to do, you don't have to do it. It's your workout, so you need to find what fits for you and what's fun. We all have our own definition of that. So I will also keep reminding you that group classes are great. I am also, in addition to being the club manager and the group fitness director, I teach classes. And so that's near and dear to my heart. So you'll hear me talk about that a little bit more too, because group classes are a great way to meet people. The instructor does all the work for you. They put the exercises together, they pick the cool music, and you just show up and do your thing. So, and there are seated exercise classes, there are water exercise classes. There's really something for everybody. There's something that you can find out there. And cardio exercise can also work your brain. Like I said, you have to focus on what you're doing and be sort of single-minded in that moment, so you can just take out all those other distractions, all the other stuff that, you know, gets into your day for the rest of the, you know, the rest of the hours that you have in your day. In that moment, you're in your own space and you're allowed to do that. Buddy up with some like-minded fitness friends. Even if you find a walking partner, find somebody who wants to do some seated stretching with you or some light strength exercise. Reward yourself when you find some success. Set some goals for yourself and then celebrate when you get there. Talk about them. I like to have people come up and tell me what they did for the day because it makes me really happy. It makes me excited for them. I like to also, for myself, I set some non-food related goals for myself, non-food related rewards. So I'll start a new book. I'll give myself some me time alone walking in the park. I will watch a movie that I've been wanting to watch. So all of those things are good ways to sort of reward yourself when you get to some of those milestones that you're setting. So here's some ideas of some cardiovascular exercises we can do. I can show you some seated. We can do them standing or seated. I'm just going to kind of walk through them with you. So I'm going to go seated first, and let me adjust a little bit for us so that you can see what's happening on my lower half here. So what we would be doing for some of these seated exercises, like I mentioned, if you were warming up, you might just do your lower half first. So I might just march my feet here first without bringing my upper body in, because when you do upper and lower together, it just kind of increases that intensity a little bit. I might tap my heels out front, and I might tap my toes to the side, something like that. And then when I want to start doing my exercise, so now I might feel like I'm getting a little bit warmed up. And when I want to start doing my cardiovascular exercise, I'm just going to do that maybe with a little bit more intensity. So I might sit up nice and tall. I might march my feet a little bit faster. I might incorporate some upper body movements with it and start moving my arms a little bit. Now I might push my heels out front and move my arms with that. So now upper, lower, moving together. I don't know if you can hear it from here, but I am starting to get a little bit breathy, right? I'm starting to feel my heart rate come up just a little bit. So I might come side to side, lift my arms at the sides. So all of these things are really starting to make my heart rate come up. I might tap my toes and I might reach across, right? Right here, breathing and turning at that waist. My core is getting a little work too. I might reach up. Overhead reaches. I might do little jumping jacks, both arms, both legs. So you can do jumping jacks even if you're not on your feet. So I'm going to let myself cool down for just a second. So those things can be done seated. They can be done standing. Any of those work. We will come back together. You can also do things like walking. You can use an elliptical if you know what an elliptical is. That's the piece of equipment where your feet are on it and they kind of make circles. So it's a little gentler on your joints. You don't have the impact of every single step like you do walking. A recumbent bike, which is the one where you sit back and your back is nice and supported, or a recumbent stepping machine. And then again, aerobics classes. I'll keep talking about those. Strength training. Here's our next question. Do I have to do this? Yeah, actually, yes, you do. We would love it if you did, because we lose muscle mass every year, like I said at the beginning. So strength training is going to combat that loss. Muscle is also metabolically active tissue. That means it burns calories at rest. Body fat does not do that. So when we can increase our lean muscle mass, we're going to get a higher calorie burn when we're just resting and doing nothing, which is fantastic. Strength training also promotes that increase in bone density. Like I talked about, the muscle tugs on the bone and it starts to tell that bone, hey, don't forget to fill in those little spots that are coming to us here. So the bone starts to get to grow back and regenerate itself a little bit that way too. So you're going to be leaner. Muscle and fat weigh the same, but muscle takes up less space. So I'll say that one more time. Muscle and fat weigh the same. A pound of muscle and a pound of fat both weigh a pound. But muscle takes up this much space and the fat might take up this much space. So what's the other example? A pound of bricks and a pound of feathers. They both weigh a pound and you're going to get very different visuals on that. Why is this important to me? Adults of all ages will find that strength training will significantly improve muscle mass, which then helps to support strong bones. It builds that lean muscle. It reduces body fat, potentially reduces falls because strong muscles can support your body when you're making those changes or you hit an unstable surface. Strong muscles are going to support your healthy joints as well, so you might get a little bit less pain. I have seen people in their 60s and 70s who have never exercised start an exercise program and do it for years and decades. And they continue to improve and they continue to make progress, whatever that looks like to them. And their success is my success. It's very, very exciting and very gratifying to see. And also, hey, your clothes will fit better. Think your clothes will fit better? They will. Sometimes the number on the scale might be the last thing to move, and that's okay. We don't need to care about that. What we want to think about is putting that lean muscle on so we can support all of those joints and healthy bones. So here's some strength training exercise ideas. So we're going to do a few things together. Again, I'm going to do some of them seated and some of them standing. All of them can be done seated, or all of them can really be done standing. So first one would be a wall push-up. So I would put my hands against the wall, do a little push-up here. I know you can see me from behind. It's going to work those chest muscles, be able to get you down towards the wall and back. So it's going to work those chest muscles in front of your shoulder. All right, I'm going to come down here, show you. I'm going to pick up these very small weights. These are about 2 pounds. They don't look like 2 pounds. They look nice and heavy, but they're about 2 pounds. You can do these with small weights. You can do these with no weights, because your limbs have weight. So even if we're going to do things like a shoulder lift, guess what? If we do the same thing with no weight, you're lifting the weight of your arm. So your shoulder is still getting that contraction at the top with just the weight of your limbs. So all of that works for me. You can use 2 water bottles, anything that you have handy. So I'll just show you a few of the exercises that we have on our list. We can do things like bicep curls, which is where the bicep is this muscle right here in the front of the arm, where those weights come up toward your shoulders, and then you bring them back down. That's a good one. You can do some bent over rows for your back. So you would lean forward in your chair and pull those muscles, pull those elbows up and squeeze your back muscles. You could do these all standing up as well, and I'll show you from right here what that looks like for your back. You would be pulling right here. So again, if you're seated, that's the angle that you kind of want to be at, so you can get that nice contraction in your back muscles. We can do things like these shoulder raises to the side with my elbows bent is a little bit easier than if we do them with my elbows straight. Why is that? Because the weight's farther away from my body, so that's a little bit more challenging. So this might be where we start with our elbow, like we're doing those when we pour the milk out. It's like you're pouring out 2 gallons of milk. We can do front raises here, so you can lift your arms to the front for your shoulders. But again, shoulders are a little tricky, so if yours bother you or you have any joint pain, you would do these exercises with no weight. So you would just be lifting your shoulders, your back is nice and straight, spine is straight right here. We also can do a little bent over tricep press. So all you're going to do is straighten and bend your elbows just like that. Again, I'll show you from the side. This is exactly what I'm doing seated or standing. All I'm doing is straightening and bending my elbow. That's the only job that tricep has. He is very, very happy. He just has one job to do. Some of the lower body exercises that we can do seated in your chair. You're just going to take your knee, lift it to the ceiling. Just lifting that knee. You're working the front of your hip right here. You're going to start to feel it too in your muscle right here in the front. That's your quadricep muscle right here in the front. You can work this, which is going to help you keep your knee joint nice and healthy if you have some strong quads and some strong calves. So the calf, we can work that by being right here with our feet planted, lifting up on our toes. It's hard for you to see maybe, but I'm just lifting up on my toes, just like that, and squeezing the back of my leg. So if I were standing, it would be this one, where you lift and lower. Same exact thing. You're squeezing the back of those calves, lifting and lowering. You can do a little straight leg lift right here. So again, this one is a little bit more of a challenge than this one because you're putting your leg out a little bit longer, so weight is farther away from your body. So all those are good things. And then you can also do standing up. You can use a wall for support or a chair, and you can do things like glute lift. Let's see how much room I have behind me. I have pretty short legs, so it does. I don't think I'll hit the wall. You can lift right here. So I'm squeezing my glutes, which are very strong, which we need. We need them to be strong so that when we make direction changes, when we get up and down out of chairs, those can help support us. And then one more, if you have the ability to sit and stand, that's something that you would want to work on too. Just sit to stand. And then sit. And if you have if you have handles on your chair, you can push up on those, right? You can push up on the chair behind you if you want to, so that you know where you're at in space. Sit to stand. That's just a squat. That's something that we would do in a workout place. You would see people doing squats. That's all you're doing. You're sitting and standing. So those are some good options for you as well. I'm going to scooch these out of the way and come back. All right. It's fun. I'm getting a little bit of a workout in here. It's kind of fun. I think we went over pretty much everything there, yeah. So flexibility training, what is this all about? People tell me all the time, I don't have time to stretch. I suggest you make time. Muscles get tight and sore, and stretching really helps to relieve that. You're going to get a better range of motion around all of your joints, which is going to keep them healthier. It doesn't have to take a long time. Just a few of them are going to do the trick. And the best part about that is that you're going to feel better with a good stretch. Research really shows us that pre-exercise stretching doesn't prevent injuries, but post-exercise stretching can keep the muscles from getting overly tight and impairing your movements. You can also try a class, gentle yoga, chair yoga, a stretching class. All of those things are really great options. Those are great options for you if that is something that interests you. This is an exercise that you can do at night while you're watching TV. I'm going to show you a few of these stretches that you can do just sitting there watching TV, and you'll end up kind of feeling good. It's a nice sort of like calming exercise that you can do even at the end of your day. And it's maybe it'll help you promote some of that good sleep we were talking about. So some of the flexibility exercises that we might do, I am going to just do them on my feet, just so that you can see me a little bit here and I don't have to move around too much, but you can certainly do all of these seated. So always are big shoulder rolls, big exaggerated shoulder rolls, rolling them back, kind of feeling all of that crunchiness come out from behind, rolling them forward. I want to do a nice chest opener. So I want to take my hands and push down and away behind and open up my chin and my chest, just like that. And if I were seated in a chair, you could even hold the back of your chair, maybe lean forward a little bit. So much of what we do during the day is forward, right? We might be on our phone, we might be on our computer, we might be driving. So what's going to happen? These muscles are going to get very tight and sore, and these muscles are going to get overstretched and a little weak. So if we want to improve our posture, let's open up and stretch those muscles and strengthen the ones in the back, right? So that was my little chest stretch. My little promotion for chest stretch because that's one of my favorites. So we'll just keep going. We're going to take our right arm, reach across, keeping your shoulder down. This is a good shoulder stretch. And then release that. We can go across the other way. We can get a little bicep stretch here. So you can take your palm, you can show me your palm and just give me a nice, easy little stretch on the front of that hand, wherever your range of motion is. If you're here, that's fine. If you're all the way down, also fine. Want to do both sides, right? We don't want anybody to get left out. Tricep, you can reach up and over. This one sometimes is a little bit of a harder motion for people to do. Switch. If you can get there, that's fine. If not, you can just stretch out your tricep by giving yourself a nice big hug. That's a good one too. You can give yourself a nice big hug. It's going to stretch out that tricep. So I am actually going to seat myself now and show you a couple that we can do for lower body that you might want to do seated. So hamstring stretch, I'm going to take my first leg, put it out front, and just lean forward. So I have one straight leg and one bent, and I'm leaning. That's it. So it's just going to stretch the back of that hamstring. And then you can also point the toe on the same foot. So now I've just pointed my toe all the way down. Beautiful. Do those both sides. We'll stretch. And I like to think about coming up with a straight spine and just leaning forward nice and easy. So you see how if you're watching TV or if you're reading a book and you just do some of these like nice easy stretches, your body's just going to be so happy when you do. You can do it's called a figure 4 stretch, and I'm going to give you two choices. You can potentially put one ankle up on top of your knee, never press on the joint, but you can maybe gently just press on the side. This doesn't work for everybody, which is totally fine. What you would do then is just put your heel on your other ankle and just open your hip that way. So it's just a little bit of a hip opener. That's all we're doing. Same thing, hip opener. Excellent. A little seated cat and cow, so you can be right here and just round your back. And then press forward, nice and easy. I'm going to stand up for the last couple. Last couple are my favorites. They feel good. You're going to just right ear to right shoulder. Middle, left ear to left shoulder. Beautiful. Nice and easy, chin to chest. Those always feel good, especially at the end of the night. Kind of get some of the tension out from right where we all kind of tend to hold it in, right? So those are really good stretches for you to just kind of keep everything moving and a little bit supported around those joints. How long do I need to exercise, Jen? This seems like an awful lot. Warm up, cardio, strength, flexibility, cool down. You do not have to do all of these in one day. You can pick one and have a good time and enjoy it. So plan ahead. I do encourage people to plan ahead. Schedule your time just like any other appointment. You wouldn't just miss going to the dentist for no reason. So if you schedule yourself some movement time, don't miss it. It's your time. Short bursts of effort add up. So 10 minutes of exercise 3 times a day is 30 minutes for the day, and there's your win. If you're somebody who is really goal-oriented and you want to see your results, you can get a pedometer, which is one of those things that clips to your belt and counts your steps. You can get a fitness tracking tool. You can watch your time and your effort add up. They make all kinds of fancy. You can get the Apple Watch. It'll tell you how long you slept. It'll tell you your heart rate, give you all kinds of metrics if you're into that. That's more than I need, but a lot of people really dig that. So that's something that's available to you in all of the whole spectrum. You can write it down on a piece of paper and check mark it. You can get yourself the Cadillac of all fitness tracking tools too. So choose what to do each session. You can do cardio one day, you can do strength one day, you can do your stretches in the evening at home. Again, you can try a class. The instructor does all of the work for you. You just get to go there and be with friends and do what you can do. And then also remember to give yourself a break. I said to start slow and find something fun, and I really mean that. So that's what's going to work for you. Oh, man. I really don't like exercise. I know. I hear this too. But here's what I will tell you. I want you to, again, use what works for you. Music, books on tape, watching a TV or a movie, zoning out and getting some quiet time, whatever makes it attractive to you is what you should do to get yourself moving. I personally have been listening to some podcasts. There's some that I really like to listen to. And so I put that in and I go for my walk. And that's kind of like my reward, my work and my reward at the same time. Don't try and stick with something that you really hate. There's so much variety. You just have to find your thing because it is out there. So buddy up, be accountable with people. The company and the shared experiences can be really powerful. And you don't even have to have somebody in person. You can text your friend, hey, I'm going for a walk at noon. I'm getting my movement in. I'm going to do my stretching at 2:00 today. And they can kind of come back to you. You can be accountable to one another that way. That's a lot of fun too with all the modern technology we have. Wear comfortable clothes and shoes. A good pair of workout shoes will change your whole day. Whether you're walking, whether you're sitting, any of those things. You want to take some time for rest and recovery. Those are an important part of fitness. Your sleep matters, and you should prioritize that as well. Choose your fuel wisely. You want to eat clean when you can. You'll fuel up before your exercise. You'll feel better afterwards. And again, if it's available to you and you wanted to do something like work with a personal trainer, you could think about doing something like that because again, they will do all of the thinking for you as far as what you need to be doing and when. They'll keep you safe, they'll watch your form, and it's kind of fun. I mean, it's just someone else to kind of connect with and be accountable with and share your goals with. And they get excited when they see your success because that is their success. So I also have for us today some balance exercises. Why should we be working on balance? Balance challenges are going to help prevent falls. A strong base of support is going to allow for direction changes when you're moving. And balance is something we can work on anytime, anywhere with no special equipment other than a wall or a chair or some other stable support. We know that preventing falls is a really important part of maintaining your independence and your healthy activities of your daily life. I work on balance exercises almost every single day. There are some real easy ways that you can do that. And again, this is something you can do just anytime, anywhere. So I'm going to show you first some of the very easy starting series. So you're going to try to aim for 2 or 3 days a week to do things like this. Super easy to start. You're going to find a chair or a wall, something for stability. I'm actually going to move this chair so that you can see what I'm doing. And all you're going to do for these first exercises, right here, you're just going to stand. You're going to lift one leg off the ground. Now, maybe you need the wall, maybe you don't. Maybe you have a light touch on the wall. Maybe you're holding on real hard. And then you would put it down and you're just going to lift the other one a few inches off the ground. This is working balance right here. Your core is firing. Then what we're going to do, we're going to do the first one. We're going to lift our foot and then you're going to close your eyes. Okay. You can feel that instability right away. That's where you might need that wall or chair or something for support. And then you want to do it on the other side, same thing. When you take away that other sense, your body reacts in a little bit of a different way. You start to feel all the muscles in your shoes start to grip, fire. They need to be strong and supportive as well. So again, when you're taking those steps, when you're stepping onto a curb, when you're getting in and out of your car, and there might be a little bit of ice there, you want all of these muscles to be able to react to help you when you're balancing. Walking is just balancing over and over and over again, right? One foot after the other. You're just on one foot. That's all that it is. So really, we want to make sure that we're practicing that most days of the week. I have on our presentation here 2 to 3 days a week. You could do it every day if you really wanted to. And this is something that's really kind of cool when you start to feel yourself progress, when you go, well, that wasn't as hard as it was yesterday. So I do have some extras. I'm not going to show you all of these, but I do have some progressions. I'll just talk to you about a couple of them. And then you can have, you can have these slides and you can practice these as you progress in your balance and as you see fit. But some of these you would do is you would lift one leg off the floor, close your eyes, and then turn your head. And I'll tell you that really changes your center of balance. That really gets challenging. That one's pretty challenging right there. When you are standing on one foot, close your eyes, and you turn your head in any direction, all of your core muscles have to fire and the muscles in your shoes. So you would do that on each side. Walking forward and backward in a straight line, toe to heel and heel to toe. Toe to heel and heel to toe. So again, you would want a wall next to you in case you feel like that little wobbly part, because you really want to make sure you're staying safe while you're practicing these. Sitting in a chair leg marches, again, because anytime you go to one foot, that's balance. Sitting in a chair on one foot, your body is starting to compensate and work on that balance for you. You would sit in a chair and lift your heels. You would sit in a chair and lift your toes. You could also, when you're starting to feel like these are getting easier for you, take a ball, put a ball underneath your foot, a tennis ball or a little kid's ball, and you're just going to make circles in one direction under one foot, make circles in the other direction under one foot, take that ball and roll it forward, roll it back, and then do it on the other side. So all of those things, really good balance exercises to start helping you out. How about some breath work? Focusing on your breathing can help you relax. You can improve your lung function, you can refresh your mind, you can calm some anxiety. Focused breathing can help you with that fight or flight impulse. So that's when your brain, something happens, you're stuck in traffic, and all of a sudden your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, you're feeling, it doesn't feel good inside, and all of a sudden you're gripping the steering wheel. Well, guess what? Some of this breath work we're going to do can take you right out of that. So this is a good way to keep yourself calm when you're in different stressful situations. So we're going to go to the next slide. I'm going to just talk you through these, and I'm going to show you a little bit, but let's keep this here so we can take a look at it. And I just want you to listen to me a little bit. You can come back to this anytime you want, but go ahead and sit with your back supported. Try and tune out any noises. Notice your energy level, your mood. Close your eyes and just breathe normally for a few minutes here. A few moments, not minutes. Just notice that rhythm of your breath. Now what I want you to do, we're going to do box breathing. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 4. Let the air fill up your lungs. We're going to hold it for a count of 4. We're going to exhale and let the air exit our lungs for a count of 4, and then we're going to hold it. We're going to do that about 3 times or so. So I'm going to give you some signals here. We're going to inhale. I want you to hold. Exhale. Hold. We're going to do it again with no talking from me. Just doing that, how has your energy and your mood changed? Do you feel a little differently? Do you think you can find some calmness when you practice that breathing technique? Imagine if you were doing that, like I described, sitting in traffic, grabbing the steering wheel. That might take you right out of that. So the next one is belly breathing. So this one is to work your diaphragm a little bit more. So you're really going to fill your belly up with some of that breath. You're really going to work your lungs and expand. So you're going to put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And all you're going to do when you breathe in, let your belly press against your hand. When you breathe out, feel it. Feel that emptying. Breathe in. So again, that's another technique that can take you right out of some of that fight or flight. It's going to help work those muscles so that you can get a nice big deep breath in and really fill your lungs, and then feel that exhale and empty your lungs. I like that one a lot. That one's really good too. So we will move on to our next couple more. Fuel, refuel, and hydrate. a healthy pre-exercise snack is recommended to help with energy for your activity. Something easy to digest, nice and light, not a big meal. After exercise, you want to get maybe 1 to 2 hours after, you want to get a nice healthy meal of protein, fat, carbohydrates. Snack that incorporates some of those or most of those would be really, really good. Particularly when you're strength training, you want to make sure you're getting enough protein so that you can build those muscles back up. The protein is going to help those muscles recover and repair a lot faster. Water is very important before, during, and after. So if you wait until you're thirsty, you probably are already starting to get a little dehydrated. So you really want to take some regular water breaks. Dehydration can affect your memory, your motor skills, reaction time, reasoning. So you really want to make sure you stay hydrated so that you can kind of stay in control of those pieces of the puzzle. And healthy eating really doesn't have to be crazy expensive. It doesn't have to be super difficult. My next slide here is just a healthy recipe for us. We've got a berry banana smoothie. Super healthy, super easy, and these are all ingredients you can find probably in your own kitchen. Maybe you might have to go out and get 1 or 2 things. This is something we have in my house a lot: a banana, raspberries, blueberries. You can substitute whatever fruit you like. Honey, ground cinnamon, apple juice, ice in a blender. Sometimes you look at some of the recipes that you see online or in a magazine and you're like, that would cost me $47 to make that smoothie. I don't even know what those ingredients are. It doesn't have to be like that. You can just get something that's like this, something that's clean, find it in the produce aisle, something that comes from the earth. Anything like that is going to be a good way to go to start your journey and fuel yourself up with some healthy alternatives. Make sure you believe in yourself. Got to have confidence. You got to stay positive, recognize your achievements. Don't dwell on the negative. So if you miss a workout for one day that you pre-planned, that's okay. There's no workout police. No one's going to come and tell you about it. You can just say, wasn't the day. I guess I'll do it tomorrow. That's all fine. Try to avoid negative people and influences. I'm encouraging people to unplug as much as you can and get inside. Maybe do some of those breathing activities instead of scrolling or looking at the things that are going to kind of make you need to do those breathing activities. Visualize your success. So why are you doing this? What does your success look like? Is it hanging out with your family, playing with your grandkids? What does that look like? But put a real picture of it in your mind. Is it outside on the front grass with green grass and you're watching them shoot hoops and throw a ball and there's sun on your face? Get the whole picture going. Get the whole picture going because that's going to help you move towards that picture. Look for role models. Find some people in your community, in your church, at the local schools, at the place that you go to get your bagels in the morning. Find these people and you're like, wow, I think I can do what that guy's doing. I see him walk down the street every single day. I think I can do something like that too. Focus on your strengths and give yourself some fairly easy successes. If you like to do all of the stretching, set yourself up to do that and then celebrate those wins. Have some realistic expectations. So don't set yourself up. I'm exercising 7 days a week. Nobody does that. That's my job and I don't do that. So don't set yourself up for things that you probably aren't going to achieve. Let's be realistic about that and make your goals meaningful. Remember that all movement adds up. Bodies feel better and energy improves with exercise. You need to find out what you love and go with it, or find out what you don't hate. I'll be satisfied with that. And healthy habits are contagious. Moving is going to help you drink more water. You're going to be thirsty. It's going to help you go to bed earlier because you're going to be tired. You're going to make healthy food choices because that's what your body is going to start to want. You can recruit a friend to join in. Sometimes I find, husbands and wives, all of a sudden somebody wants to go out for a walk. Hey, I want to go out for a walk with you. Now we're walking and talking instead of just sitting there and, watching the television or, being in separate rooms. Healthy choices are contagious, man. We can get together. We can do those things. Don't go it alone. Let other people help you. Go through some of these ideas that we have talked about today. Find out what you want to do and recruit some friends and make it a good time because it really can be. So I thank you so much. Here are some of the sources that I have used. And so some of these places are good places to go and find more information if you are interested. So the ACSM, American College of Sports Science, is the gold standard of fitness programming. So that is what we all of the other quality certifications fall under that. ACE is the American Council on Exercise. That's one of the certifications that I hold, two actually that I hold from ACE, and we follow under ACSM as well. And then Yoga Journal just has some really good articles in there. They've got really good relaxation techniques. They have some good healthy recipes. Some of those you might need to look up the ingredients, but some of them might be something that you have on hand. But it's just a really good resource. That's something that I use when I'm looking for things like this too. So I thank you. I am so happy to have spent this time with you today, and I really appreciate your energy and being here with me. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jenifer, thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to this right now, but I really enjoyed doing that. So thank you so much.
It was amazing. I do have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
You said, find my thing when it comes to exercise. Can you give just a couple bullet points on how somebody can figure out what's the best thing for them? Because exercise as a whole, this was an amazing presentation and there was so much in there, but how does somebody who hasn't gotten off that couch like really take that first step? That can be a little scary. It can be a little overwhelming. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I agree. And I know there was a lot of information, but that's a great question. The first step is definitely the hardest one. Making the choice to do that and then actually doing it are two different things, right? Sometimes we really want to do it and it's just like, gosh, where do I start? I don't even know. So the pointers that I give people a lot of times is to do something that is really attainable for you and that you can be successful at very easily. So I'll give you an example. Set your shoes, your athletic shoes, what you might go walking in or something like that, right by the front door, and commit to yourself that you're going to put those shoes on. You're going to lace them up. You're going to walk around the front yard at least once. That's it. You've already started. So you can do that. Everybody can walk around their yard at least once, walk around your living room, whatever that might look like. Something that is very attainable, 5 minutes of exercise. And then you'll say to yourself, okay, I know how that feels. Maybe that's not your favorite thing. Now I want to take a look at something else. Maybe you want to do something where you're seated in a chair. Maybe you want to do some of the exercises that I showed you, 5 minutes of doing something. So starting with the very smallest of increments so that you can then see, how does that one feel? I did like that. I liked how I felt the next day. I liked how I felt afterwards, because even just that little bit of success, you'll start to build on that. And sometimes even when I don't want to exercise, I'll trick myself. And I know I'm doing it because I'm telling you about it right now. And I'll say to myself, I am going to walk for 5 minutes. And if after 5 minutes I'm not feeling it, I'm just going to take a break. And 9 times out of 10, I keep going. But on that 10th time, when I feel it after 5 minutes, I'm like, today's not the day. I just give myself a break.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, just taking those little tiny steps and seeing sort of what, and like I had mentioned too, some people really like that flexibility part of things, the stretching. You can sit and stretch in your chair while you're watching TV. You can tell yourself, this is my favorite program, and every commercial break, I'm going to do a different body part stretch. So now you have a little bit of a goal and something to kind of keep you going and keep you entertained while you're doing it.
Yeah. You had mentioned you work in this field and you don't exercise 7 days a week. If somebody has exercised a couple times a week, or what would be a goal for one of our veterans, one of our seniors? What is a good time frame? Do I do 10 minutes every day? And does it make more sense to break it up? Or if I get in 3 hours on a Saturday because I just went for a walk and forgot to turn around, so I was out for 3 hours, what is best?
Yeah, usually I would suggest that a little consistency is always a good idea. So planning it out to be maybe 2 or 3 days a week of some kind of quality movement and some kind of maybe quality strength. So 2 or 3 days a week. And like I had said, exercise is cumulative. So if you do 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon, you did 20 minutes of exercise today. That's a great start. On the days where you don't plan that actual exercise, maybe those are the days you do some of those balance exercises and the breathing exercises, right? To calm that central nervous system, get yourself back into like a nice kind of even state. So those things you can do anytime you like, the balance exercises and those breathing exercises. But actual like quality movement, cardio exercise or strength, I would aim for 2 or 3 days a week would be a reasonable place to start. And then you can build from there depending on how you feel and depending on the goals that you might have.
Okay. I know that one of the comments that has come in is, I don't want to drink water because water makes me have to pee. And that is a concern, and sometimes that leads to dehydration.
Yeah.
What would be a good, if you're going to exercise for 30 minutes, what would be a good volume? Is it a sip of water? Or what do you look at?
Yeah, I mean, you just want to not let yourself get to where you're parched and really thirsty. So the little sips along the way are perfectly fine. I don't have the formula in my head. There are formulas for, how much you weigh, depending on how many ounces of water that you should have. But really, for most people, just making sure that you don't get to that state where you're thinking like, I need water right now, you're probably going to be just fine. And another way you can sneak in some extra water that might slow down the process of eliminating it maybe would be to have some very watery foods. So oranges, watermelon, things like that, cucumbers that have a higher water content. If you fuel up on things like that, you might not have to evacuate those as quickly because I know that is a concern for a lot of us for sure. When you drink a big water and then you go take a walk, you're like, now I have to stop somewhere. So,
Right.
so those little sips along the way, beginning and ending, for sure. And then eating some of those really water dense fruits and vegetables will be helpful too.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a particular, my grandfather didn't like a lot of water, but he
Mm-hmm.
would eat watermelon all day. So if I gave him 2 cups of watermelon, he was a happy guy, and
Yeah,
it did the same thing. So
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I love oranges. I probably eat oranges every single day.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the other questions, and if anybody has any additional questions, please let us know, and you can put that in the comment section. One of the other questions that came up was, do I need special shoes or special clothing to exercise? I really don't want to spend any money, but I want to be safe doing what I'm doing. Can you speak to that, Jenifer?
Yeah, I would suggest that for as far as clothing goes, anything that you feel comfortable really moving around in, something that's not too tight, not too restrictive. Um, denim can be hard to exercise in just because, if you're wearing jeans, they can be a little bit restrictive. So anything that feels kind of comfortable to move around in is fine. And as far as footwear goes, I would just suggest that you choose some shoes that have a little bit of a tread, a little bit of a grip on the bottom, so that you don't start to slip. You don't have to get real fancy shoes. I mean, you can get those if you want, but I don't get those either. My children ask for them, the shoes that cost all these hundreds of dollars. But gosh, you don't need those, but you do need something that does have a little bit of a grip so that you don't slide around. And sometimes I know it's hard to tie the shoes and bend forward, so they make some really nice slide-on shoes that still have a really good grip. And I've seen them at all kinds of stores for all kinds of price points. That can be very inexpensive, but something that'll be supportive to you. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for that. What do you think for you personally, Jenifer, is the best benefit you see for your exercising?
Oh
I
my
know
gosh.
it's personal to you, but
Yeah.
it's personal to different people.
I'm so glad you asked that. That's my favorite question. It is a guaranteed mood changer for me. It is a guaranteed mood lifter. Um, I one of the things that I've said for years and years is I just wish that more people would get that opportunity to try and take those little chances and get some movement in their life, because it can change your whole demeanor from the inside out. Um, if you are feeling, a little down, a little bit heavy, something's weighing on you, and you are able to go and move, you kind of take your brain out of that because you have to focus on what you're doing. And then you get those really good, nice big breaths. Your lungs fill up, your blood is moving. By the end, maybe you're a little bit flushed. You feel nice and warm, and it is an instant mood lifter for me. That is something that can change my day almost instantly. So I look forward to it all the time.
So I was gonna then come back in and say, since you shared, I will share.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. I do think that it helps with my sleep as well.
Mhm.
So I think both of those go together for me personally. But this presentation today, Jenifer, was amazing. And I thank you very much for that. It doesn't seem like we have any additional questions at this time. But I
Okay.
do want to remind everybody that we did go ahead and put a evaluation, a survey in the comment section. So please hit that link and let us know. And then if you have any questions for Jenifer, we will make sure we get you connected with her over at Good Shepherd. And
Absolutely.
then ElderWorks does do our Stepping Out to Fitness, which we're in the middle of doing right now. But we also have other resources like Jenifer at Advocate Good Shepherd to keep your body moving. Jenifer, thank you so much for today.
My pleasure. It was really great to be with you guys. And I'm honored that you included me today, because this was a lot of fun for me. Thank you so much.
Oh, you do good work, and we're very honored to have you work alongside us to help our seniors and our veterans. Thank you, Jenifer.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
You as well.